White House in crisis. Let's go to the border. Warning. Excuse your kids from the room. Most Americans think of Vin Diesel when they hear Fast and Furious. Yet, another indicator that the media has utterly failed at being the guardian of the gate, and the White House is in crisis. Spanish TV station Univision launched their own investigation into Fast and Furious and found 57 guns that were used in a number of murders and kidnappings that were not included in the official congressional investigation.
Usarlas, quedó de manifiesto que por lo menos un centenar de ellas fueron usadas en crímenes de toda índole. Hallamos 57 armas desconocidas por la investigación del Congreso de Estados Unidos.
Why is that? I mean, not only why wasn't that part of a congressional investigation, but why did it take Univision to put together a report that connects the dots and gets to the truth? By the way, the 57 guns, that's nothing yet. Watch. Not a single one of our so-called major networks have bothered to really dig into this story. Univision News obtained Mexican documents that reveal on January 30th, 2010, a commando of at least 20 hitmen parked themselves outside of a birthday party of a high school and college student. After midnight, they broke into the one-story house and opened fire on nearly 60 teenagers inside the house. I don't know if you can really see the carpets. As they were being slaughtered in cold blood, lookouts outside the house gunned down a screaming neighbor, and several students tried to make a getaway. Some of the guns supplied to the cartel and used in this massacre were traced back to Operation Fast and Furious, as were the guns used in the bloody attack in 2009 when cartel thugs murdered 18 young men at a rehab center. But perhaps an even bigger revelation from Univision is the fact that Operation Fast and Furious was not the only gun-walking program being run by our government. Univision reports now that an ATF field division in Florida repeatedly launched Operation Castaway, which sent weapons to criminals in Colombia, Honduras, Hugo Chavez, Venezuela. So it wasn't just limited to Mexico. We apparently, under this administration, have been sending guns all over this hemisphere. It also uncovered Univision's investigation an ICE special agent named Jaime Zapata. He died after exchanging gunfire with cartel hitmen on a rural highway in Mexico in February 2011. Univision reports the guns were not from Fast and Furious, but from a very similar operation. Not surprisingly, the Department of Justice has stonewalled any attempts by Senators Cornyn and Grassley to get any answers. I will tell you, America, if we do not change this course and change it rapidly, you will not see broadcasts like this or what you saw last week. We will not be able to bring you the news. If corruption can go unchecked at this level, this high of a level for this long, you will not see broadcasts like this in America done by reporters. They already are afraid. They're not afraid of anything but being uncool with their friends. When you start mixing in violence, either by the Muslim Brotherhood, their allies, or drug cartels, which, by the way, they are allies, as reported on this network, you don't have a chance of getting the truth. Will your children be safer 4 years from now if Barack Obama is reelected? Now, here's the other side of this. Mexicans are particularly unhappy about this operation and the lack of justice on the matter. Not because of the border agents that we've lost, but because of the wave of deadly violence that is left in the wake of Fast and Furious. Look, let's be honest, crappy enough, conditions exist in Mexico. The last thing they need are more guns in the hands of drug cartels given to them by our administration. That only means dead bodies to them. But here's where it gets really interesting. A Mexican lawyer is now preparing a lawsuit against the ATF, representing the families of victims of Fast and Furious. Perhaps Obama should rethink that $450 million that he wants to give to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Because $450 million, I'm guessing, is only going to be a small down payment on the amount demanded by Mexico. My gosh, I never thought of this. What a great way to take the America down a notch and redistribute her wealth to impoverished countries. Surely, that's just an unintended consequence and something that this administration would be totally against. If you think this story does not affect you because you don't live near the border, I want to show you something. Maybe you don't have a border agent in your life. Well, this is a map, and if you see those blinking lights there? Those are where all the Mexican drug cartels have infiltrated here in America. Did you read the story out of the Chicago Tribune just last week? The DEA was saying it's worse than 1930s with Al Capone in Chicago, and it's all Mexican drug lords. Are your kids safer than they were 4 years ago? The answer is clearly no. 4 years ago, we were on the wrong track. 8 years ago, we were on the wrong track with George W. Bush on the border. But let me tell you something. With Barack Obama, we are not even on a track.